Hello everyone, welcome to MTG Dads, the channel about being a father, a husband, working adult that plays Magic the Gathering. My name is Kyle and I am an MTG dad. I'm married, I've got 3 kids, 4, 7, and 10, and I play Magic the Gathering. So a little history about me. I played Magic when I was growing up from the age of about 12 to probably about 18 or so. Had a few gaps, during that time, maybe 3 to 6, 8 months, where I'd take a little break and get back into it again. Stopped playing when I got out of high school, and after about maybe 6, 7 years after I stopped playing, sold my collection, which was a terrible idea, by the way. And then about 3 years ago, I started playing Magic again. And now my 10-year-old son knows how to play, so I play with him. He comes with me to the LGS. He's been part of my play group for the last couple of years, and now my 7-year-old daughter is getting into it as well. And it's been an absolute blast to be able to share this hobby that I enjoy with my children. So that's a little bit about me, but the idea behind this channel is to kind of give a voice to everyone out there that's like me. Since I've got back into it, I've realized and I've met a lot of people that are similar to me, that they played when they were younger and they either stopped for a while and got back into it, or they never really stopped. But now they're married, they have kids, and they've got their careers, and so the idea of trying to find the time to play can be a little bit tricky, and also find the people to play with can be hard as well. Again, that's depending on how close you are to an LGS, what kind of community that LGS has. But when I started playing again, I lived about an hour away from the nearest game store. So going to Friday Night Magic every week wasn't really that doable. It made it expensive because you figure an hour drive there, hour drive back, plus the time, so you almost to play. So you almost have to factor in money to eat and then to play, whether it's draft or constructed. And it was just, it wasn't that conducive to having a married lifestyle with the kids, of telling my wife, hey, I'm going to be gone every Friday night for 6 or 7 hours once you add in the drive time. Luckily for me, I got into a play group of people in town, and it was just a 3 or 4 minute walk down the street, and we set up a pretty consistent schedule of every first and third Thursday of the month. We're going to get together around 5:30 or 6, and we'll play for about 3 or 4 hours. And it worked out great because it was easy to put on the calendar. And it was easy to plan for. Well, recently we've moved, and so while I'm now 2 hours away from my old play group, which is a bummer because the guys in that group were absolutely awesome, it does give me a new opportunity to adjust the how I play Magic, what format, and also get a chance to meet some new people as well. So I am excited about that. So today I'm going to talk about the idea of when you're an MTG dad, what format do you play, and also how do you even choose what decks you want to play. I don't know if you're anything like me. I probably spend way more time consuming Magic content, going through cards, building decks, than I do actually playing. I'm going to put Arena aside because I absolutely love Arena. That's kind of a different animal, and it's great for people who are really busy and working. But actually, the physical side of actually paper Magic is what I want to talk about. So where I was at before, we were pretty casual. We always played multiplayer as long as the people were there. It was pretty rare to get just one-on-one games going. We played a lot of Commander, a lot of 4 or 5 person free-for-all with 60 card decks, and it was an absolute blast. Because for me, I never played Magic in a card shop or a game shop or anything until I got back into it about 3+ years ago. Even though I played for about 6 or 7 years when I was younger, I'd go to the card shop to buy my cards, but I never once actually played there. It was always in one of our friends' basement, in my basement, on a countertop, kitchen table, card table, 4, 5, 6 person free-for-alls, and that's basically all we played. So to get into a different type of format, one-on-one, that's very different for me. I will say that probably the majority of the one-on-one games I've played of Magic my entire life have been with my son. I've just never played a lot of one-on-one Magic outside of since Arena. I'll throw that in there. I played a lot of one-on-one on Arena, but as far as paper Magic goes, it's been rare for me to do that. It's been almost all multiplayer. So the downside of moving and starting a new job, new house, everything, is I lose my play group. The upside is there's an LGS that's only 20 minutes away. So that's really exciting to actually have that near and to have that community to get into, because I never had that before. So last couple Saturdays, my son and I, so I've been to this LGS twice. The last couple Saturdays they did kind of like a random grab bag draft with just kind of repacks, and it's been a lot of fun. My son's had a blast doing it. I've had a blast, and getting to know some new people, kind of get to know a new community. There's another family there that brings their kids around the same age as mine, so that's really cool. That's been fun. However, without having an actual play group in place right now, I have to adjust the type of Magic that I play. So they've got Standard on Tuesday nights, which with my work schedule doesn't work. But Friday nights, they have Modern every Friday night. And they usually have some sort of draft or tournament on Saturdays, which I'd like to go as many of those as I can, but that's a lot longer time investment to do so. To tell my wife, hey, me and my son, or me and my son and daughter, we're going to be gone for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours for a draft, versus, hey, we're going to go play Modern for 3 to 4 hours. I've never actually gone and played Modern at Friday Night Magic, so I'm not really sure. But making that adjustment's going to be a little bit, I guess, difficult. Maybe difficult's not the right word, just different for me. Because I get the most enjoyment out of Magic playing in groups, but they could also be because that's all I've ever done. I've never really given Modern or Standard a try, just because it hasn't really been available to me to do so without driving an hour to make it happen. So I'm excited about getting into Modern. My son, he's started building a deck the other day, and it was kind of a goblin deck, some cards he got from a draft a couple weeks ago, and it kind of had the backbones, the bare bones of a decent Modern deck, and so kind of walked him through some stuff. We're still going to make some changes to it. But talked to him, throwing in his lightning bolts, told him about this card called Goblin Grenade, and he got really excited. For 1 red mana, sacrifice a goblin, deal 5 damage. It got him really excited. So I think it's probably going to shape up to be some sort of goblin deck with a little bit of a Chandra tribal thrown in the mix. But he's really excited to do it, and that's part of the fun for me, is to see the excitement in my kids as they do that. And so as I start looking at adjusting my play style and getting into Modern, again, that's something I've never really done before. I'm definitely a Timmy at heart when it comes to deck building. I love Commander. Commander's my favorite format, because you just get to do big, giant, dumb, broken things and get put together 3, 4, 5 card combos. I'm not really a fan of going infinite, but you can do just some crazy stuff in Commander, and that's what I've always loved, because that's the type of Magic I've always played. So kind of expanding my horizons a little bit, going into Modern for the first time is going to be interesting. I definitely don't have the card collection to get into really competitive Modern. I've got a decent collection, but most of my stuff is pre-Modern. So like I said earlier, I sold all my cards after not playing for 5, 6, 7 years. When I started playing again, one of my friends, and I'll talk about this in another video because of how awesome it was, but he gave me his whole collection that he had. Now he had gone back and he had sold all of his original duels that he had, and a lot of his really expensive cards he had sold individually. But he gave me the rest of his collection just because he didn't want to take the time to go through it, and he's just a good friend, which speaks a lot about the friendships that you build playing this game. And he's still one of my best friends to this day, but after not having played for 15 plus years, he just said, hey, have all these cards. So I got a nice big collection, however, not really set up for Modern. So I've got a few chalk lands. I don't really have any fetch lands. I think I have one or two. So definitely have to do probably some trading and invest some money into it to really build the backbones for a good solid modern deck. But that's alright. I've never been really big on trading cards. I'm not against trading. I've just never really done a whole lot of it. So I've got a decent enough collection. I think I could probably trade into most of what I need. But with that all being said, making this adjustment and then choosing what kind of decks to play. So that's going to be a hard part for me as well. Is I love the casual get-togethers because I get to play 2, 3, or 4 different decks a night. And since I spend so much time just going through my cards and building decks, I love to be able to cycle through them as I play. Going in and having a modern deck is I'm going to be playing the same deck all night long, which is fine. It's just, again, that's different than what I'm used to, so I'll just have to make some adjustments to do that. But going forward, it'll be a good experience, and again, it's broadening my horizons. It's doing something I don't normally do, which is, as with most things in life, is never really a bad thing to try something new and different. After going for several Fridays, if we don't really enjoy what we're doing as far as me and my son, we can start reaching out and try to find some people to get some casual play groups together, or just find some people that maybe want to just get together on Friday nights there instead of playing the modern tournament. Just get some games of Commander going. That'd be fine as well. But as going forward, I'm really interested to see the type of people that I'm going to get to meet. I'm really excited about that because being 30 plus years old and being new to an area, it's hard to make good friends anyways as you get older, and so having a common theme and something that you both enjoy makes it a lot easier to get to know people and become friends. And for me, that was always the number one thing about playing Magic, was the social aspect of it. To be able to make these friendships that when you live in an area, if you don't share a lot of hobbies, like for me where I lived, most of the guys there, they hunted, they were outdoorsmen, they were farmers, they were fishermen, whatever you want. They were outdoorsmen. And while I like to fish, I don't hunt, I don't share a lot of these hobbies. So while it's easy to get to know someone a little bit, at least for me, in my experience with guys, it's nice to have something to do to get together. If you do something together, it's a lot easier to get to know someone. So having to adjust the format that I play is going to help me to get to know some of these guys better and some of these people better, to broaden my horizons, like I said. But to help introduce me to people in this new area where I don't know anyone. And that's one of the things I love about this game is no matter where you go, you'll be able to find people that play. Sometimes it's harder than others, but I think there's it makes it easy to do so. And again, so going back to with my kids, being able to go and do that with my children is absolutely fantastic. And I've got an amazing wife that's really supportive of this, because this is my hobby. This is what I do. Some husbands, they golf, some of them hunt, some they spend an hour or two at the gym every day. Some of them spend 2 to 3 hours a night watching sports on TV. And for me, it's Magic the Gathering. And so going forward, I'll be talking about different topics with regards to being a dad and how it impacts the family and the relationship with husband and wife and stuff. But also, this isn't going to just be me talking. I'm going to have other people on here talking with me, other Magic Dads, to kind of share some of their experiences, and hopefully we kind of learn from each other, because it's easy to get too wrapped up in what you're doing to be like, oh, I'm going to buy all the new Commanders decks that came out. Well, unfortunately, this hobby we have is not cheap, and so having those conversations. So we're going to touch on different things that we've all shared and experienced being dads that play Magic, and as we go forward. But so we'll get to those on later shows. So a couple things kind of wrap up. I do want to talk about this podcast called MTGU. So it's MTGYOU. So I'll be on there here in a couple weeks to have my first experience on a podcast. They just had their 200th episode, I think about November or December. Really great show. If you get a chance, if you haven't checked them out, just go to mtgu.com. It's got all the links there and all the different episodes, to find them. And as we go forward, again, leave any comments you got. Hit the subscribe button, all that YouTube stuff. And also just kind of bear with me as I'm kind of finding my footing with YouTube. It's the first time recording anything, so thank you, and I'll see you next time.